Hi there, guys. I wanted to come in here today and I wanted to discuss a topic that is very controversial. Um, it's kind of around, or it is around a group that is very protected, that is very, you're very cautious about what you say, putting your mouth on them and things like that. Um, and so let me just say first off, I want to say December 25th. So Merry Christmas to those who celebrated and hello to those who don't. Um, but I have time today. So I wanted to talk about, I haven't really got a title yet, but I wanted to talk about um, transgender women. Um, and the difference, I guess, or how they have labeled biological women as cisgender. I still haven't really um, got a hold to that new title, you know. But I was having, and I can't even really remember why, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine on last night. We were talking about that, and she is a biological female as well. Um, and we were some kind of way. I think it was something about a movie that she saw, and she was explaining the movie with to me, and it had that topic in it. And I was telling her about how on TikTok a few nights ago I came across because I just, like everybody, I just scroll, I look at the lives and so forth, maybe stop by, listen, see what this is, what it's talking about, whatever. And so I came upon a transgender woman who was having the discussion of basically, are transgender women really women? And I think the topic was also, they were also discussing if a man, a straight man, has relations with a transgender woman, is he then gay? Okay. So, I sat and I listened to it for a little bit, not long, really at all. I got enough to hear points in their speaking points and so forth. And um, you know, my life, my understanding of things, of course, everything has to do with a person. Many things have to do with a person's gender, how you look at something. It has to do with your where you come from, uh, geologically in America, your household, your upbringing, your religious affiliations, if they were there or not, your personal experiences in life. So I mean, I'm saying all that to say that people's different views, male and also your views change, as far as if you're a man or a woman. Like it's not the same, but all those things causes your opinions to change and be different, um, because of those things. So, you know, the person talking was a blonde, very kind of keen featured, um, I don't know, white or Hispanic uh, person. I mean, could have been. Yeah, probably white or Hispanic. I really couldn't tell. I wasn't looking that hard to. But it wasn't an African American person that was the transgender. And I believe there have been some other transgenders on the panel. But so at the end of the day, the argument was, of course, from the host or the person making the live, hosting the live, was that they are a woman. And so men, straight men that have relations with them are still straight men, you know? And I have had issues with, first of all, that line of thinking and maybe the whole topic in certain aspects of it. Now, let me say and throw out my own little disclaimer right now that this video is not to shame, harass, bully, make fun of, make light of, terrorize, scrutinize, or any of that in anyone in the LGBT community plus LGBTQ plus community, because I've been seeing the plus. I want to that's not what I'm doing at all. I am mostly, and this is not even about trying to say that they're women or not. That's not even what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm telling my perspective from a biologically born female woman. Um, it's not even, I'm not even comparing, because honestly to me there it's not a comparison. That's not a slight or anything. There is no comparison. And I want to say why. Um, excuse me. Now, the reason I say that is because you can, however you're born, male or female, you're born. Once you become trans, somewhere down the line, it is because of a decision somehow that was made somewhere in your life, kid, teen, whatever, or even an adult, to not feel comfortable or right or good or whatever in that body that you were born in. Now, I think there's also various reasons for that. Like I say, it has to do with a person's household, they're raising, they're rearing, it's a lot of different issues for why they don't feel that way or why they feel that way. And so those of us, especially biologically born women, and have chosen to stay this way, that's for a reason also. That's for a reason also. Um, now, the issue that I have, first of all, with a person making, here's I don't have an issue with a person making a decision to feel however they feel. Like, that's how they feel. I can't do anything about that, can't change that, whatever. A person feels the way that they feel. A person uh, feeling more comfortable in more feminine attire. Maybe they feel more feminine um, in their life, like just maybe from a kid, they felt feminine. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so those are things like I can't say anything about. I can't debate. I can't, the makeup and those things make them feel soft and feminine or whatever because they're leaning that way anyway. Is stuff that I can't, like, I don't have any control over that or say so over that. That's how it is for them. Um, now, so here's the getting into the video. I think I've set the stage enough. Now, my issue with you saying that a woman, you are a woman. Um, the issue that I have with that as a biological woman, whether I understand it or not, is the fact that I don't I don't understand how me growing up as a little girl, me having all of the first that I've had in my life as a little girl, teenage girl, woman, now a middle-aged woman, getting toward menopause and what have you. At the end of the day, I can't agree and say that someone who was born a biological male, and I wasn't born male, so I can't fully understand. But I don't understand how you going from your biologicalness of being born a male, um, that you can choose or feel so much like you are a woman or want to be a woman, that you are equal to me, in the sense that as a little girl, I remember one of the earliest things I remember with approaching puberty was I remember having pain, the little growing pains of beginning to develop breasts, and I developed breasts. I did a lot of them, and so I remember that pain though. I remember that because I remember I used to do like this when I was, because they hurt, like they really hurt. Um, and I remember the day, I was talking to my friend about that last night too. Like we were talking about the day that we had our periods, like in our menstruation period, whatever you want to call it, when it started. I remember the day. I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. I was there laying across the bed with my mom. My mama was a big baseball fan, and she was watching baseball and whatever. And I just remember my stomach just hurting, like a pain I ain't never had. Like it just hurt so bad, And I was telling that to my mom, whatever, and she was just encouraging me to, just lay down and whatever, and it'll stop or whatever. Never had that feeling before. And I remember going to the bathroom and there it was, you know. And um so without going into all of the detail of that and that day and everything, I remember it so vividly. And I remember how it felt. I remember, kind of I was scared. I was kind of dreading it. I knew some of what it meant and everything. Um and so those are two experiences that I remember being a biological female. I remember a little boy like touching me inappropriate for the first time. I remember other experiences of males much older than me touching me at that time. And not to get into all of that, but I know how that feels as a little girl, and as a girl, I understand that. So that, just from right there, I have to say, those three experiences right there are experiences that you can't tell me a biologically born male who has changed their sex, their gender for whatever reason or however they did it, whether it's surgery or whatever. Like those are experiences that a little boy and even a trans woman at this time now can't experience. You can't remember when you were beginning to get breasts. You can't remember when you had your first period. You can't remember being in the body of a biologically born female and having a male touch you. Like it's different. I'm not negating or saying that you may have been touched or whatever as a guy, whatever. It's different. Although it's the same act, it is a different it's just different when you are a little girl. And I'm not, like I said, taking away from the fear, from the pain, from the anger, from I'm not taking away any of that. My point is still, as a biologically born little girl, you can't know how that feels. Going on into preteen, into being a little girl and those hormonal changes and those um you're getting hips and you're getting things begin to change from a young little girl's vagina to a teenage girl's vagina. Like there, I mean, I remember, and I don't want this video to be graphic at all, but there's changes to your, I'm just going to say it like that. There's changes to your body, like you're getting hair in places that and once again, as someone who then is trans or whatever, yeah, you everybody gets pubic hair, but at the end of the day, you still don't have the changes, chemical and hormonal changes that a biologically born woman does, because in your body's getting harder, your body's getting more solid as a male. Your body is, I mean, you're going facial hair now. Like you know, you're not getting breast. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not beginning to your body's not developing as a woman, and even your vaginal area changing as a woman. Like it's not the same. Like as young as you are, whenever you start your period, like there's a chemical thing in your mind that now says that you can have a baby, like you can have, and I just can't see how as a transgender you can you can have those thoughts, you can have those ideas and those feelings. And I guess at the end of the day, the whole point is you could put on makeup, you can wear heels, you can wear dresses, you can, be as soft and feminine, you can use female products, you can, as far as like body lotion and, you can do all those things. You can do all those things that make you feel like look like a woman on the outside. My argument with it is it's more than that to be a woman. It's not me, because I'm gonna be a woman whether I put on makeup, heels, a dress, or any of that, or lingerie. Like I can put on all of that. I can put on that stuff or not put on that stuff, and I'm still gonna be 100% woman. If you, as a transgender, don't grow your hair and do your hair up and do your nails up and put on heels and put on whatever, you're more than likely, if you don't do those things to really make yourself look like a woman, you more than likely are not going to look like one. You're going to look like a man, because that's how you were biologically born. And as I said, as a woman and little girl begins to grow up and mature, her body just naturally becomes softer and rounder. There is a look to a natural born woman than and there is a look to a natural born man. um Men are just like, you can just look at a little boy and you know he a little boy. Like, you can look at a little girl, whether she has on earrings or not or whatever, and you can pretty much tell that's a little girl. I mean, it's there is a difference. I'm not, once again, because this is a very sensitive topic, so I'm not saying that there is a difference and one is better. Like, I'm not even going there. I'm just making a fact. I'm just stating a fact. um I don't care how soft and feminine or whatever a little boy is. I don't care how pretty he is. I mean, like, a lot of times I just use, for example, Prince, the entertainer Prince, rest in peace, who is one of my favorites. I just use him for an example because as a man who didn't, like, as a man, he was beautiful. He was absolutely beautiful. Um, But as beautiful as he still was a man, and there are still things that he would have to do more so, because we know he wore makeup and heels. But there's still things that he would have to have done more if he was really trying to really look feminine or look more feminine. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he was a beautiful man. You have people like, even like back in the 80s, Boy George of Culture Club, I love them. Like, I didn't understand, like, I don't even know if, I don't think Boy George was trying to be transgender. I really don't. But, well, obviously not. He was calling himself Boy. But I mean, he too, to me, was a beautiful man. Like, I wanted to wear makeup more so because of Boy George. Just the way, he wore his makeup, all those colors, and just, I mean, he was so fun. Like, the hair, and he wore the little beads and all this stuff, and the hat, just the way he dressed. Like, he was, I didn't look at him as feminine though. And maybe it was just the times. I don't know. If some of y'all remember Boy George and Culture Club, and just the way he was, if you all can understand what I'm talking about, you know. But you know, the point that I was making is still that there is a difference. If you look at my hands as a woman, and a biologically born man's hands who's even my age, like, our hands gonna look different. My hands are obviously gonna be smaller. My hands are rounder and more feminine than, despite my nails and all that. Still, there's a difference. Men's hands are bigger, wider, broader, and like I say, just their bodies feel different. You know what I'm saying? That their bodies are hard. Their bodies are, um, they don't have hips and things like this. You know what I'm saying? They don't have their butts normally. Everybody's built different, but normally their butts are not, um as round and whatever as women's are. And I mean, you don't even really take the time nowadays to even understand why women's bodies are made the way that their bodies are made. Their bodies are made that way so that they could bear children, whether they decide to have them or not. The hips widen out, the butt round, like, all that whole area rounds out and fills out for the carrying of babies and children. We have breasts for just the plain old, seriously real reason of being able to nurse babies. Like, that's the purpose for them. Men don't have them because men's bodies don't produce milk and things like that to nurture babies. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I think it really gets down to the fact that you can just really put on makeup and put on heels and nails and all that stuff, like I say, and feel like a woman. But the changes, like I keep saying, the chemical changes, the biological changes, the hormonal changes that I have had to go through all the various stages of my life of being a little girl, of becoming a preteen, of then becoming a teen girl, of then becoming a young woman, of the changes in biological and chemical changes in my body of when I became a mother. Like that's a whole nother world. That's a whole nother world of the things that you go through. Postpartum depression, like all like this stuff is real. And these okay, and so let me just continue and getting into your um what would you call it? Your middle ages, I guess, of being a woman. Those things have their own different biological and chemical changes and things like that as a woman begins to get enter perimenopause and then menopause and then postmenopause. Like all of these are stages because these are things and changes in our bodies that like I'm just going to be honest, although I am completely and naturally all woman, my body has changed from when I was a teenager. Like my body don't do the same stuff it did, as when I was a teenage girl. It's complete, like I have a whole completely different body. You know what I'm saying? The changes in life, like your body changes after having a baby. You know what I'm saying? It's never the same again. Um, Now, as I said, as becoming an older woman, beginning to hit that, menopause era or whatever, it's some more changes in my body. My body is not the same as when I was 35 years old. And whether that's good or bad, I'm not going to really even get into that. But there's a natural process of aging. You know what I'm saying? That stuff stopped happening. You know what I'm saying? And you start getting more of or less of or whatever. I mean, it's just a natural progression that a biologically born male who is just putting on makeup, hair, a wig, or whatever this is to feel, to live out how they feel. And I give them all credit for feeling that way. Like I say, I can't do anything about that. Um, but at the same time, like I'm saying, you can't either do anything about me and how my life and body has changed in my chemical reactions and my hormonal reactions all my life and my uh, my chemical reactions in my brain and things like that. Those are the things in my mind that actually make me a woman. Like putting on hair, makeup, and nails and heels and things like that, and saying or feeling like you are a woman, that to me, and I remember I don't have that experience, so I can, and I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. I don't have that experience to say. All I have the experience of is actually being born a natural born woman. So I know what that is and how that feels. And I know the changes that my life, my body, my mind, I mean, even the reactions in our brains, even how we respond to things. A teenage boy at 15 years old, whether he trans or not, is going to have a whole different way and line of thinking than a 15-year-old girl about various things. You know what I'm saying? Girls are, because of our bodies and the way that we're born and our emotions and our left brain and right brain and just all of these things, uh, every month, I'm just going to take it right here. Every month, a little girl's body, mind, and all of that is completely chaotic, out of whack. You crying for no reason. You don't know what you're crying for. really in most of my life as growing up as, like being a teen and into adulthood, womanhood and all that, most of the time when I cried, it was during my period. It was during my period. Um, overwhelming of emotional stuff going on, And, I know there's a thing supposed to be, oh, a male period and a guy having it, but that's a mental thing. It's kind of like a play on whatever. But there is actually, they say, some biological differences that men do go through on a monthly basis. But even with that, I still have to say it cannot be and is not the same way that a woman experiences it, because we are made differently. Just plain and simple, whether good, bad, however you feel about it, we are made differently. Um, so yeah, that's it. That's the video. That is, one of the other things I do have to say that I have a issue with is sometimes the LGBT community, LGBTQ plus community, um, in my opinion, sometimes they, in the push for their rights and in the push for their equality or what have you, because I believe everybody deserves equality just from being a human being. But in their push for that, I think a lot of times it has a tendency to step on other people's toes, like women. Like there's so much fight and push for, trans and gay rights and things like this. I'm mostly gonna say maybe the trans. Um, there's such a push to make them feel equal and whatever and not subjugated or whatever, until I think a lot of times there is the push is so far that, but they step on real biologically born women's feet and toes every day and say some really uh, unsensitive things to and about us in their push to be equal, that I don't think they think about us. I really don't. Like I don't think our natural born biological women's feelings are considered and put up on the forefront, because there's such a push to try to make them feel good and equal. Like I that's just how I feel. One of the things that I'm gonna just be admit that is offensive to me is to be called cisgender. Like I don't want, I didn't choose to. I never asked to be called a cisgender. That to me personally, not anybody else, to me, that is offensive, because I am a woman. I am a woman. I can't, like, I don't even know how to argue that I am a woman. I haven't changed my identity. I haven't changed how I was born and brought into this world. And so my question is, why do I have to change the calling of myself so that other people can fit in? I don't want to be called a cis. I don't want to be called cisgender. I want to be what I have always been. And I mean, because it's not my decision to change who I am. I don't want to have to do that to make other people feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just a lot of things that in the push for other people's equality that, I don't think they realize how much you are also stepping on other people's toes. And I think for the most part, women are pretty quiet about it. They don't really talk about it. They don't want to say anything. They want to be loving and embrace and make you feel good and welcome and all that. And I get that. I do. I feel that. But at the same time, as I'm saying, I don't always see that same gentleness with biological born women. I really don't. I see a lot of pushback, and I see sometimes just outright aggression, and don't really give a damn about how you feel about it. Like that's what I see. You know, there's a push, and has been a push for a while now, to even change the brand label and the labeling on menstrual pads and tampons and stuff. And it's just like, that's one I really don't understand, because that you're not even having a period. Like, why do those products have to make you feel equal? Or if you go into the store, you want to feel comfortable that it includes you, but you're not having a period or a cycle. Like, you're not, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, that's one of those things where, like I'm saying, like, why is that offensive and harmful and whatever to you, that it has to be changed from what it has always been, most, I mean, my life at least, to make you feel comfortable like that. I don't feel comfortable changing that. Like, I don't understand why it has to be changed. I mean, anyway, guys, that's how I feel about that. I'm hoping again that, in anything I said was not offensive, hurtful, harmful, came off hateful or whatever, because it was not meant to be. But we also have to get to a point to where we can't just stop and not have conversations like this for fear of hurting certain people, or you just don't know what to say, you don't know how to say it, I mean, we're sharing, we are sharing. And how much of we're sharing this thing, does it then become you have overtaken me and my rights and what I feel and how I think about stuff, like, because honestly and truly, that is how a lot of women feel. Like, I don't mind sharing with you, but, like, come on, like, don't push me completely off the stage. Like, and that's how it comes off. It really comes off almost to like a replacement. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we can't be. We cannot be replaced. But someone's like, in a small way, that's almost like what it seems like. So, you guys leave a comment, please. I know this is, like I said, a very sensitive topic, conversation. But let me know what you think in the comments, and share your thoughts, feelings, and concerns, experiences, whatever, with me. And just let me know what you think, especially if you're a biological born woman. If you are a trans woman, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. And you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload videos. Um, and until the next video, I'll see you next time.